Hello, everybody. How's it going? How's it going, my peoples, tonight? How's it going? So I hope everybody is having a great evening and that everybody is doing well. Thank you so very much for joining me for another session tonight. How you all doing? So as you come in, you all please kindly give the life a like and definitely share the live with others. Tonight, you all, we have a great session, and we also have someone who is very familiar with the audience on the panel tonight. So I hope that everybody's going good. Y'all see, I'm representing my Texans, and I want to thank my little brothers too for making sure that I got this Texans jersey. So thank you all so much in Houston. How y'all doing? I see my sister Kay is in the house. How's it going? Haiti lives in me says, please keep negative comments to yourself. This is a positive forum. If you choose to think otherwise, then this platform is not for you. Merci en pile. Oh, merci oui. Pour tout le monde, moi, salut tout le monde. Comment nous y est? M vle di Haiti that lives in me. Merci. Deske ou di un gros bagay pou moi. I want to thank Haiti that lives in me for saying something big for me because this is a positive platform, you all. We will have different people. Do we agree with them? Not always. Do I always agree? Not always. But this world is not a world that we always agree with each other. But one of the things we want to do is respect each other's differences. So thank you all so very much too. We are coming. We're getting so much closer to completing our sponsoring a child program this year. Thank you all very much. As we speak, you all have 4 more kids that needs to be sponsored. I already know they will be taken care of. So please reach out to me. And Haiti, there's no gas in the country right now, but I was blessed. Somebody knowing what I do with life in Haiti gifted me with 5 gallons. That meant so very much. That meant so much. I was so happy. Today I didn't even get to go to church for the not having gas, having that little bit and not wanting to be stuck on the road and couldn't get any more because it's a fight. It's crazy out in the streets to get gasoline. So I want to ask you all to continue to lift Haiti up in prayer. Continue you all to don't forget about us back here, all right? So we're gonna bring in the guests, and I want to welcome everyone too coming in tonight. Welcome everybody. Miss K says hello. Hi. Hello, Marie. Hi, everyone. Blessed Sunday to all. Blessed Sunday. And you all, as we get started with this show, please share the live. Share it with others. Mr. Seal, how's it going? How's it going? Hello, Marie and guests. Mr. Jackson says hello, Life in Haiti family and Maria. Blessed day to all. So let's bring in the guests, you all, and start this. Hello, how's it going, Stallion?
Oh, it's doing good. Life's treating me good.
So I want to say finally I have you on the stage, and I know you are one that have stood behind Life in Haiti since my first day on air. And I want to say it is a pleasure to have you on the stage tonight. So talk to the people and introduce yourself to some that may not be familiar with Stallion.
Well, I do appreciate they put me on here as a guest and try to communicate some positive information that others can benefit by. So I'm not sure which exactly you want to know. You want to know a bit about my background or where I'm from or?
Well, one of the things is I know you've been on some of my peers' show throughout this week or throughout this month, and if we pretty much have a lot of the same people that follow us, so I would like for you to introduce yourself and share something with the Life in Haiti audience that they do not know about you. You know, because I know that you joke a lot, but I also have had the opportunity to talk to you and get to know you on a more serious side. So share something about yourself on life in Haiti that you did not share with the other guys.
Well, I mean, I'm a person that likes to travel. I know that. I got my passport. Been to what countries I've been to? Been to Mexico once, Costa Rica, I think 3 times. Been to the DR 3 or 4, and of course, back in 2016, it was actually my longest trip outside the United States. I went to Ghana. I was actually there for 6 weeks, but that was, that was for another reason. Put me in another different part of the world, much different culture than it is here in the West. So, getting ready to retire here pretty soon next year, and hopefully everything goes right. I will be moving out of the matrix, and I will be in the DR.
Hmm. All right. So, why of all places that you traveled to did you decide to go with DR? What was so unique about DR?
Well, originally, when I first traveled outside the states, I went to Costa Rica. And make a long story short, I had an older friend of mine that was not. He didn't work at the same employer where I was at, but we knew each other through another means. But in any event, this guy's a little bit older than me, and he had talked about going to Costa Rica for a long time, and he said how friendly it was, and it was very opening to Americans and this and that. And I've heard him tell me this for probably, I don't know, 6, 7 years. And finally I said, okay, I'm going to break down and go. And what I did is I booked a ticket with my nephew because it was around his graduation from college. That was kind of like his present. I asked him, I said, I'll give you some money, or you want to come with me on this trip? So he wanted to come too. So he got his passport, went to Costa Rica. I think it was back in '07. And, at that point I said, yeah, okay, yeah, I like this. And then as time went on, I got to travel to go to the DR. And, I just had to kind of decide, where I wanted to retire to. And Costa Rica was on my list for a long time, but the way things are there, the cost of living is high. They don't really have good beaches there, at least to hang out at. The water's not clear, really, for the most part in the country. So, with all those reasons, I decided, the DR is better to be at. They got better quality beaches. The infrastructure is not as good as Costa Rica, but it's really catching up fast. Um, there's a growing expat community. Costa Rica is pretty well saturated with Americans for the most part. That's been a place for people. Americans have been going for 30, 40 years. So Dominican Republic's kind of an up and coming thing compared to Costa Rica. So and that's really why. And it's a little bit closer to the States. I mean, to fly from coast from Dominican Republic and get into Miami might be what, hour and a half, 2 hours at the most. So if you're flying from down in Costa Rica to get to Miami from San Jose, you're probably looking at almost a 3-hour trip. So
Hmm. Well, I know you've mentioned too in the past that you've been to Ghana. Can you kind of tell me a little bit, tell the audience a little bit of what it was like in Ghana? Um, Personally, I have been trying to reach out to the continent to bring some of their content creators on the show to kind of do a compare contrast and to get like a insight on what it's like living there. So can you tell me a little bit about your experience as far as Ghana?
well, there's some big differences really. Between the countries, a different culture. Number one, number two, just to give some basic, the electrical current there is different than it is here in the West in most countries. The plugs that they have for their electricity is totally shaped different than anything here in this part of the world. So, and some of the African countries are the same. I think their current is 240 voltage. So, here's where the Americans make mistakes at. They bring over, maybe a hair dryer or something that they're going to plug in over there, and they get what they call a step down. A lot of times that doesn't even help. It'll burn up, whatever you're bringing over. So even with your cell phones, you got to watch on that too. So that was one of my experiences that I encountered. with at least with the one cell phone I had. You have to really watch on that. The currency is different, obviously. You do an exchange there. The infrastructure wise, Accra is getting really, they're speeding up on their infrastructure. Anybody can go on YouTube and then, put it in there and they'll show you all the roads being built. The only catch is now they're borrowing a lot of money from China. And so any of these other countries around the world borrow money from China, you're going to pay tenfold. They're not doing it for free or anything like that. So some of those countries get themselves in debt, but in any event, yeah, it is what it is. Ghana, there's a lot of speed bumps there. They don't have radar, to pull you over. They're rebuilding their rail system up there, which is a positive thing. Culturally, it's really two different Ghanas. You have the South and you have the North. That's kind of the way things are divided. And there's a lot of stereotypes because you have different tribes within the country. You have some minority tribes, which are usually in the north, and those are the poor areas of the country. When you get in the southern regions, like around Accra, maybe Kumasi, you're going to see, you'll see the nicer homes, and that's where some of the wealth and concentration's at. So it's kind of like two different Ghanas, in that respect. So. And I've been to all parts of the country. I've been to the extreme north, all the way up by the border of Burkina Faso. And I've been, of course, I went through Kumasi. I was there for a couple of days, and then Accra. So, there's similarities. They got Walmart over there. They call it GAME, GAME. It's the same. It's Walmart. They just call it something else in that country. So, they get their fast food restaurants.
Hold on. I was going to ask one of the things, and excuse me too for interrupting you. I was going to ask, do they have like fast food restaurants there? I mean, what are some of the contrast difference? I know you've never actually traveled to Haiti, yet you follow a lot of Haitian content creators. What are some of the differences that you've heard between Ghana and Haiti in comparisons to America? Is there like KFCs, McDonald's, are those type of things available for when SPAC choose to move back home to Ghana?
Yeah, actually, I think in 2012 was when they got their first American franchise restaurant. It was KFC. It was originally just right in Accra. I think the one I ate at there is the first one that was built. It's down. There's an area inside of Accra called OSU, and that is like the quote tourist area, which I didn't see as being a tourist area, but in any event, they did have a KFC there. I did eat at it. It's pretty similar to what we would hear in the States. Now they have Pizza Hut. They think they have a couple Pizza Huts there now. I was told by somebody I speak to over in Ghana, they opened up a McDonald's in Accra. KFC is pretty much throughout the country in the major cities. So that's the main American restaurant that exists. They have American style food. A lot of the restaurants that offer American style food there are going to be, a lot of them, I hate to say this, are Lebanese owned. Yeah, Lebanese got a lot of businesses in Ghana, and that's about as close to the West you're going to get as far as combinations, whether it's food or even the hotels. The way they have their hotels set up that they own, and some of the resorts are owned by the Lebanese businessmen, and it's almost at U.S. standards. I mean, it's pretty close.
Wow. So Ghana is pretty much, it's, you could say it's more advanced than us here in Haiti, right?
Unfortunately, yes.
Wow. So how, like, because I like to ask these questions, especially from people like you who have traveled, and that's one of the things that I would love to do. So you say there's two sides to it. How drastic is the difference between the two sides?
Well, I mean, the northern part of the country, they have what they call regions over there. And the only other country I could think of they call regions is Nicaragua. Nicaragua they call their states or provinces regions. The northern regions of that country are they're more rural. That's poorer. They don't have a lot of industry. The biggest city in the north is oh god, I can't pronounce the name right offhand. It's not Tima is a port city next to Accra. I can't remember the city up north, but that's the biggest city up there. And then you're going to find a lot in the northern part of the country. You have a larger Muslim population. You have mosque everywhere. It could be out in the middle of nowhere. There could be a small building. It's a mosque. It's just there's mosques throughout the country. Basically 25% of the population are Muslims. They're practicing Muslims, and it's Sunni. Yeah, with the Islamic religion, basically you have the Shia and Sunni. Sunni represents 85% of all Muslims. About 15% represent Shia, and that's mostly in Iran. But most people are Sunnis or Muslim or Sunnis around the world. So, and then Ghana's no different. They have a lot there, and I mean, from that end of it, that's kind of like the difference between the two. Most people go to the South to look for work, and for the most part, in that country. So, um, I mean, there's a lot of expats there that might have been, Guyanians that might have lived in the UK or Canada or in the States. A lot of them will put money and build homes there for their families. The running stereotype that I've been told is if you live outside of Ghana and you don't do anything for to build a house for your family, you're kind of like shunned. It's like it's a negative antidote that people will put on you if they know that you live outside the country and you didn't build a house. You're building a house for your family, not yourself.
Hmm. So one of the conversations that we have, because you're just a jokester. So for many of us, right? I see some of my people saying you had us fooled. I remember the first time I had an opportunity to speak to you, Stallion. You had me fooled just from reading your comments, and I just knew you were like some tall African Ghanaian guy. Okay, please, even though people are not seeing your face, please kind of tell the audience you're not Ghanaian. You
Well,
represent them tough. It's
I
difficult for us to, just from reading your comments and seeing the things that you have to say, to not think that you are Guyanian.
no. Well, the only reason I know this because wife number one is a Guyanian, and I've been with her for probably almost 10 years. So, it wasn't a path that I had set up from the beginning. you know, uh, when I met her, when you meet somebody out, when you meet somebody that you want to date, you know, I don't check nationality status at the door. I'm pretty open. So, and it just happened to be she was a Guyanian. And as I got involved, I had to get more involved with the culture and the family and everything else. So, I mean, it was something I never planned. West Africa was never on my radar for anything. Never. It's a very long trip on the plane to get there. It's an overnight flight, and the way they do things over there is a lot different. In some respects that weren't. You're not used to traveling in the West.
Hmm. So I know a lot of my people's watching. I've kept you all in suspense. They waiting to hear the talk exactly about the title. And tonight we're talking about how to make money, right? Outside of the box. And I know you've shared with me ideas, and I will let you all know that I'm not well knowledge into what he will be sharing. What he will be sharing, it is not telling nobody to do it. It is something that he does. He has talked to me about it, about it's not anything fraud. It is just an idea and a way to make money. And from what I understand, this is not a credit repair. So for my peoples who is watching, and especially for my foreigners that follows life in Haiti, I do not want you all to think that this is a credit repair. This is not a credit repair, okay? Listen carefully. Moun mwen yo ki ap gade, mbavle pou nou panse sa se un bagay ki range kredi ou, ok? Paske se pa sa liye. Men se un jan ou ka fe kob avek kredi kad ke ou gen. So please share with the audience more about what you are talking about.
Okay. Well, again, yeah, I want to emphasize this is not for credit repair. This is basically what I'm revealing is a way to make money, and that has no investment, no time, and minimal risk, which I'll explain to you in a minute. Basically, what this is that people have to qualify for this, and a lot of people may not qualify. When I put out the criteria, the way to make money is if you have credit cards that have less than 15%, or let's say 10% of utilization, which means, for example, if you have a credit card that has a $10,000 limit, you can't have more than $1,000 debt on that card. That's 10% utilization. It has to be under that. So if you have a credit card that has less than 10% utilization and you never missed a payment on that particular card, you could actually make money off of that card. And the way you're doing it is you're putting on authorized users onto your card, and you could actually get paid for it. So that's the introduction to it. So if you want me to dive into the whole thing, I can do it now if you want, or if you have any questions.
Definitely. And if you all have questions, please share it. One of the things I want to continue to reiterate is that this is a positive stage, okay? So let's not be hateful. Whether we like what's being shared, if we agree to disagree, let's learn to convey that message in a manner which is respectful to everyone, all right? So please share.
Okay. So here's how it works. And I didn't know this until about probably a little less than 2 years ago. I'm doing like everybody else was doing. I have a full-time job. I worked a part-time job for years and years. And I'm thinking there's got to be a better way to make money, than what I'm doing. You can work, you can work 60, 80 hours a week, and you might get ahead, you might not. And there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet about people that might do forex, day trading, or buy stocks, and sit back and think it's going to go to $1 million overnight and all that. That's fine, but that requires investment. Or you could run a little business like drop shipping and those type of things. That requires some minimal investment, but it requires a lot of time. What I have is something that's totally different. And basically, it comes down to if you have the credit cards to do it with, that's your initial qualification. And the way it works is there's people what they call brokers that are tied into these credit repair services. For example, if somebody might go to one of these services and they want to get a car note, or they want to get a mortgage or something like that. Their income is good, their job time is good. Those are, when you start making major purchases, they look at a lot of different aspects. But let's just say that your credit utilization is high. And what that is on a FICO score, 35% of your FICO score is made up by your payment history. So if you have missed payments on anything, it's going to pull that FICO score down. 30% is what they call credit utilization. This is where the brokers come in at. Basically, what it is the lower your credit utilization is, the higher your FICO score goes. So an example would be, let's just say somebody had a total of $100,000 of available unsecured credit, and let's just say they're over 5 credit cards, okay, or 4. All right. Then let's just say that person has a spread across those credit cards. They had $25,000 of debt on those credit cards. Okay, that would be a 25% utilization. Where the brokers and this trade lines and the authorized users, all this stuff I'm talking about, comes into play is where somebody goes to, maybe they're trying to get a home loan, or they go to a car dealership trying to buy a car. You can get qualified at either of these places. It's just that the amount of interest you're going to pay, in order to get those loans. You can go to a car lot and they can go through financing and get you financed, but at what interest rate? And the interest rate's going to be determined by your credit score. If you have a low credit score, then you're going to pay a lot more interest, on that car that you buy. Same way with a home loan. A home loan you could get bought somewhere through a mortgage company, but if you have a low credit score, they might require a lot more down payment, or on the home, or you're just going to pay more interest. So the catch is getting that FICO score up high enough to where you can get approved on those loans, and that's where these credit repair places come in at. And then once,
hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. So when someone do what you are advising them to do, does it bring up their credit score to bring up the FICO score?
right, well, what happens is, and then this is an example. Let's just say somebody goes to the bank and they want to get a mortgage. Let's say it's $250,000 they want to borrow. All right, so the bank's going to kind of pre-qualify you to a certain extent and find out if you're even eligible, to even get a loan through that bank. The bank might come back and say, well, okay, here's the deal. Your FICO score now is 680, 690. In order to do business with us to get a lower interest rate, you're going to need to get your FICO score up to 720. Okay, so the easiest way to do that would be to decrease your credit utilization, which represents 30% of your FICO score. So what that person would do, they would go to at least one of these credit repair places. They would do an analysis. They explain to them what they want to do, what their goal is, and then somebody from that company would go through and say, okay, you don't have any collections. Everything looks good here. What you need to do is you need to buy an authorized user spot. And what that will do is let's just say it's mine. I got, for example, let's just say this is just an example. I got a $25,000 credit card that I have with the brokerage company, or the credit repair place. Okay, that person's got their total credit line that they have through their cards is $100,000. They have $25,000 of debt. Okay, what they're going to do is they'll buy that spot for that $25,000. And what that will do is that will post on their credit bureau report, and legally that shows them, the other side, the person that's buying the service, that will show that their credit line, their total limit goes up to 125,000, which brings their utilization down to 20%. Because now you're
hold on. So when you speak on buying, all right, automatically someone like myself would assume buying requires me coming out of my pocket for some money. Does it require someone to come out of their pocket for that spot?
Yeah, they have to buy the spot. They have to buy the spot through that service. Yeah, then here's the goal. Here's the thing. Here's how it works. If they buy that spot and they buy that $25,000 authorization or trade lines, what we call it, that post on their credit bureau report, now it appears they have $125,000 of available credit. If you divide that $25,000 of debt by the $125,000 limit, that brings their utilization down to 20% from 25. What that will do is
hold on. Don't go so fast, because I want to ask questions that I think people will want to know. So you say you buy the spot and it brings their credit score down. Now we're looking a little bit further. Is that a bigger bill for them too on a monthly?
No, they're buying the spot. What it's doing is it's bringing their credit utilization percentage down. And when the percentage of their credit utilization goes down, their FICO score goes up.
Okay. You may continue.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that if the higher their credit utilization is, in other words, their debt compared to the total limit they have, that's a negative. The FICO score wants to have your credit utilization low. So the lower the percentage, the higher your FICO score goes. The higher your FICO score goes, that qualifies you for the lower interest rates, like on a mortgage or a car note. So that's the incentive why people buy the spots, because they're trying to get their credit score up high enough temporarily in order to qualify for these loans at low interest rates. So let's just say, for an example, the bank says at 690, you're going to have to pay, I'll just say something outrageous here, 8% on your mortgage loan because you have a low FICO score. Now that person knows what they need to do to get their FICO score up. They go back and they increase it to 720. The bank will say, okay, that puts you in a different bracket because you have a higher FICO score, and that your interest rate will go down in order to get that loan. So over the life of the loan, if you take another $250,000 and you're looking at a 4% spread over the life of the loan, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars of savings and interest. And all they had to do was maybe spend $1,000 to buy that spot to have it posted on their credit bureau report.
But that's also credit, right? So when we're speaking on credit, it's something you have to be mindful of, that at some point you have to pay that back too, right?
Well, the loan you take, yes. I mean, but that has nothing to do with the authorized user spot usually lasts for about 30 to 60 days, depending which company you go with. So
they have that small amount of time to use it.
Right, exactly.
Then what happens within the 30 to 60 days?
Well, after that period, it's going to drop off and their FICO score is going to go back down. But the thing is, once you lock in, once they pull credit, if you go to a car dealership, they send your paperwork to a bank. Okay, and I used to work at a car dealership as a finance manager when I was in college, many years ago. The banks take a snapshot of what your FICO score is for that day. So if you go in to finance a car, they're going to pull your credit bureau report, and it's going to show on there was an inquiry from, let's just say, Chase Bank, on a loan, or Wells Fargo, or whoever it is they're going through. That's what they're going to determine. And they're going to look at you, also your job time and everything else to see if it matches up to what you're saying. But everything else being equal, they're going to look at that FICO score, and that determines whether you're going to get approved on that loan, and if you do, what interest rate that you're going to be charged. So the higher the FICO score, the more options you have to get a lower rate to pay on that car note.
So this is really, really good for someone that is in search of purchasing a home and their credit is not so good, basically, right?
Yeah, these are the buyers now. I'm from the broker side of it, but I'm just saying what I'm describing is what the buyer, why they would buy those spots to start with. I'm the broker.
But that's the benefits. Most of the time, you wouldn't just want to be buying spots just to be buying it, because it is not something that is a forever thing. It's for 30 to 60 days. So we really want to reach the people that is in need of purchasing a home, maybe within 30 to 60 days, that's trying to purchase a vehicle, that's trying to do something that they need the credit to be good, right?
Right. They're trying to qualify really for a lower interest rate to save money. In other words, you're paying $1,000, let's say, to buy that spot for 30 days to increase your FICO score for 30 days. Okay. But if you get approved with a lower interest rate, you're going to save more than $1,000 over the life of the loan. So that's the reason why you would do it. That's the reason why the buyer would do that, why they would spend $1,000 up front, because in the back end, they're going to save all this money. And that's
they can get that approved, that loan they're looking for.
Right, exactly.
Okay, let's go to the audience, Stallion. Haitian Impress say, loving the breakdown example. Thank you. Mr. Jackson says, now, can you teach poor people to make money who don't understand the value of money? Most of the people I know are the biggest wasters. I'm guessing he's meaning to say most of the poor people, since that is exactly what you described. Most of the poor people I know are the biggest wasters. Would you like to comment on that? How can you teach poor people to make money who don't understand the value of money? Okay, well, most of the people I know are the biggest wasters. Okay.
Well, I mean, that's something they have to, get some discipline on, as far as managing their finances and everything else. This thing or what I'm describing, you don't have to make big money or be a professional in order to do this. You could be literally somebody that works third shift as a custodian at some office building somewhere and do what I'm doing right now. It's just that you have to be able to manage your finances. So that person that's pushing a broom third shift making 15, $16 an hour, if they have credit cards that I mentioned earlier to fill that requirement, they could make money right now. So, but you have people that are have that make you got people that are doctors out here making $250,000 a year, and their FICO score is 550 because they're all trying to live like rock stars. My coinology is they're trying to live like rock stars on a garage band budget. They're trying to front out there to make it look like they have more of what they really do. And those are the ones, that get in trouble. So people that have money and professionals are in trouble just the same as the people that have no money. It's mind over matter of managing your finances, your financial health. That's what it comes down to.
Living within your means.
Right.
Haitian and Press say during the pandemic, is it true FICO added more fine lines? I ask because so many people fell off because of the pandemic.
Yeah, I can't answer that question. I'm not sure how FICA is looking and things like that. You have moratoriums and everything else in play here. So I don't know what's being reported, what isn't. I'm looking at it. I'm more on the brokerage side. I'm the one to say if you got the cards, you can make money off of it. Those other individuals that need to raise their FICO score for whatever reason, those are the buyers. There's more buyers than sellers out here in this market. More people have credit. There's more people. There's fewer people that have credit cards that can do what I'm doing versus the majority of them where they're the ones that need to raise their FICO score up. So those are the buyers. There's very few sellers and there's a lot of buyers in what I'm describing.
So, if someone wanted to become a broker, can you share some ideas and tips on how to do that?
Well, that's that they would well basically they would come through me. And what I would do is if they have the credit cards to do it with, basically the criteria I laid out, I can provide my email. They can send me an email. I'm gonna have to screen them out because I've already got some emails, and people that not gave me complete information, or they just don't qualify. So once we get to that point, I can get them signed up, and I can get a quote for them how much money they can make, off the credit cards that they have. And at that point, they'll be dealing primarily with the company that I'm tied in with. And I can obviously they're going to need some pointers from me on how it works and how to add authorized users on, and there's some mechanical stuff they need to know about the company too because everything is done by email. Yeah, which I could be described later, but I need to get them to first base first before they hit a home run to get their money.
So please take a few minutes to type in your email. If anyone wanted to get in contact with you and ask you some information, they can get with you directly. On this subject, you all please contact him, Stallion, directly because contacting me, I would not be able to tell you much of anything about this. So please type in your email address so that people can get in contact with you directly.
Okay, now here's the only catch. I'm through the stream yard, so I don't think I can put my email on there. I'm gonna have to go in literally into the chat. So let me get down to my back cave here so I can get on.
Okay. So Wilson Jean says, at Haitian Impress, big banks who own credit cards return the same old practice during the Trump administration. Mm. Haitian Impress says, at Wilson, I'm a big fan of the credit unions. Marge Do Not says, buy what spot? Hold on a second. Wilson G says, at Haitian Impress, credit unions are small and mostly serving in certain areas, and their practices are way different than big banks. Wilson, and I want to welcome you to the live tonight. Welcome, Wilson. Haitian Empress says, at Wilson, that's why I rock with them. So I see it. Y'all are having a conversation there.
Yeah, I'm typing in my in the chat. I'm typing in my email.
Okay. Thank you. Maggie says, I learned to manage what I have without having to go above my means. But the subject is interesting and educational. Thank you so very much, Miss Maggie. Thank you. And it's interesting to me too, hearing him share it with me. And of course, Stallion trying to beat this subject into my head. But y'all know that I am not in the U.S., so certain things I am not able to do in Haiti or even attempt to try. So, I mean, if it'll work for some people and you think this is a way that it can assist you, make sure you read the fine lines and you can, find out more information about it. Haitian Empress says, I hate bills, period. I stay off the grid as much as possible. My sister, I don't think anybody like bills, okay? We all like money, but nobody likes paying bills. That I can guarantee you. People don't, they work, but I don't think people really like paying bills. So you all please share the live with more people. Share the live with others. Tell a friend to tell a friend about the live. And if you have yet to give this live a like, please give the live a like. Marie, hello, my sister. How's it going? Hello, Marie. I hope everything is well with you and everyone around you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. And same thing to you too, my sister. So one of the things I heard you mention before is that not all credit card companies are eligible for this or does this. So can you share a little bit more background information? And here is his email.
Okay, well, most of the credit unions are not. They're not going to. The companies don't want to deal with them because some of these credit unions and some smaller regional banks do not post their the credit history onto an authorized user spot for whatever reason. You know, if it was a negative, they would do it yesterday, but they don't want to post the positive stuff. So most credit unions are out of the game to start with. Most of the trying to think smaller regional banks, they're far and few that they accept. What they're looking for is the big players. Big players would be like I like Barclays Bank. Barclays Bank is like number one. Wells Fargo is good. U.S. Bank is good. Citibank for the most part is good. Discover to a lesser extent. One bank that I would not mess with at all because they can cause problems for you as a card holder is Capital One. I would stay away from Capital One. They're not easy to work with, and Capital One will shut your card down. That really at the end of the day, the only risk there is in this whole thing is they could shut your credit card down, which I've had that personally happen to me with Capital One, and I know I've talked to other people on the blogs and stuff, and they're running into the same problem with that particular company. But that's what it is. I mean, as far as the companies go, I mean, there's a few others out there, that are good to use. Just trying to think offhand. Synchrony bank cards are still okay to use, what I've been told. Chase Bank is good. That's a big player. Those are ones I'm thinking off right offhand. These smaller banks are like Navy Federal Credit Union. Those are no-goes. American Express is a no-go.
Why is that? Why is it certain banks is a no-go? Can you tell us why? Because some people say, well, I'm going to want to give it a try. I'm looking to buy a house, but I have a Capital One credit card. And that is a known company. I mean, I think I've had a Capital One credit card in my younger days. So why is it that they're not on there?
Well, Capital One is because for the broker, it's not good for the broker because Capital One Their attitude is they don't want you to put any authorized users on their account. That's what it comes down to. They want Capital One is geared towards more of people with their marketing of their cards is to low people with low credit scores. They'll give you these little cards that you can start out with, and you crawl and then you walk. And eventually, you move up to a higher grade card. So Capital One doesn't like authorized users for the most part. So that's where that's where you can run into problems having your card shut down. Now, in my particular case, it didn't matter to me. I think I might have had I had like 3 Capital One cards with around 7,500 total credit limit. It didn't phase me at all because I wasn't really making that much money with it to start with, and I got so much unsecured credit through multiple credit cards. I mean, I didn't miss a meal as a result of them shutting it down. Personally, for me, now if you're the only one that has a Capital One and that's the only credit card you have, or maybe 2 or 3 others, and I mean, I wouldn't risk the Capital One if that's the only card you have to market, unless you just want to play it out for about 6 months and then they'll end up shutting it down. That's the only risk out of this whole thing there is. Most of them, I've been doing it for a year and a half. I've been going through it pretty smooth. I haven't had any problems with any of the companies or anything. The thing is, the companies are actually pushing it on some of their websites to do authorized users because they're assuming that you're giving that authorized user to a family member, a friend, somebody else, and then they're hoping that person uses that card and runs up a bill, and then obviously you as a primary holder can be responsible for paying it. So the banks are making money hand over fist because some of the interest rates on these cards are 15, 20, 25%, depending which card you have. So that's their incentive. They want it out there, but the thing is, with what I'm doing, the authorized users are never going to have access to the card or the account number. All they're going to do is see it on their credit bureau report. And the thing is, they don't care about what I'm doing anyways, as long as they get what they want to increase their FICO score so they can get a major loan approved.
Let me ask you, because you seem to be well informed about this. What steered your interest? Like, what made you really, really like get into this type of work?
Well, again, I was working my butt off for years in a part-time job. A lot of people are doing that today, especially in the matrix. Our buying power has gone down over the years. People don't see that, but it has. What a dollar buys today is what it bought 20 years ago. So here we are. We're all working, trying to make more money to have the same standard of living, and sometimes it requires you working 2 jobs. And I was no different. I mean, I could have survived on my job that I have, my primary, but I wanted the extra money so I could travel, like I do without going into debt. My part-time job was paying for my travel for the most part. Well, I ended up giving up my part-time job about 2 years ago, and I started, researching and blogging and, putting some work in on the front end to find out, hey, how can I make money? I've seen all the stuff from drop shipping to, investing a little bit of money, trying to do trading, Forex stuff. There's even a thing on there with Amazon Turk, which a lot of people don't know about. You can get paid off of that doing little tasks that they have set up, which that's no real money in that either. So when I stumbled on this, I looked at it, and I thought back in my mind, I started looking at my little stash box, and I got all these credit cards sitting here collecting dust. And when I'm reading, I said, wait a minute, I could actually make money off of this stuff. And of course, I had to do a lot of research. I was real hesitant because I thought it was fraud, or I didn't think what they were telling me was true. And then I started researching more and more and more, and then finding out, okay, where's this coming from? And it's the credit repair places, the full service credit repair places are the ones that have the brokers. And that's where, you go to as a broker, you sign up with them and you provide your information to the company. And that's, obviously that's how you make your money. But, I didn't know that, this time 2 years ago, I didn't know anything about this. So it's just a matter of research, thinking outside the box, as the title says. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm making more money off of this by far than working my butt off at a part-time job per month. Easy.
So, so we have Mr. Max Petitfouet, and welcome to the live. Welcome in. I want to encourage everyone who have yet to subscribe to Life in Haiti to kindly become a subscriber, you all, and share. I noticed we have someone, Jill Quebec. Hello from Saint Martin. Thank you so very much for joining us live today. Thank you. And I hope that all is going well. Please share the live. And if you have yet to subscribe and enjoy the content, definitely subscribe, watch some old videos, and get to know a little bit about life in Haiti. Mr. Max Petitfouet says, "Hi, Marie. I have a hello, Mr. Max." He says, "I have a credit score 630. Is it not enough to jump my score?" That's for you, Stallion.
Well, if we're talking about credit repair, that isn't, that's something different. The FICO score doesn't mean anything. The bottom line is, do you have the credit cards? And I'll give you an example I think I did on Philly's channel. Let's just say, for example, you have 5 credit cards, okay? And let's say out of that 5, one of them out of that 5, for whatever reason, you didn't pay the bill. Okay, it goes into collections, and basically it's going to bring down your FICO score. All right. Your FICO score has no relationship to what I'm referring to, because you have 4 other credit cards that were in good standing. Those could be marketed as long as you didn't miss any payments on it. So, one has no relationship to the other as far as that goes. If that was the question was trying to be answered.
Okay. So do you think if Mr. Max wanted to purchase something, would you be able to assist him?
Well, Mr. Max, basically the question is, does he have any credit cards? That what I described
So
earlier.
you have to have a credit card in order to qualify for this program.
Well, to make money, yes.
So when they buy a spot, can they also make money?
No, they're buying a
Outside
spot.
of what their credit would, outside of the FICO benefits?
Well, that person's on the buyer side of the house. If they're trying to get their credit score up to get a loan or something, that's the only reason you would buy a spot to start with, is to get your FICO score up temporarily, so you could get, a car note or a home loan. Some actually will buy spots to increase their FICO score temporarily to qualify for other credit cards. Okay, so maybe they want a low interest credit card or something. But that's on the buyer's end of the house. You know, the bottom line is, on my side, the broker side, is you either have the credit cards or you don't. Doesn't matter what your FICO score is. Doesn't matter what job you have. It doesn't matter what income you bring in. It's like being pregnant. You either are or aren't. You either have the credit cards.
Whoa.
I'm just putting it out there blatantly. I'm just calling it what it is. Either you do,
Not
or
the
you
pregnant.
don't.
Not the pregnant.
Either you do or you
So
don't.
I know y'all see me too with my little baby puppy with me. She's not really feeling up to par, and I see she's laid out on my leg wanting that attention. So I said, well, let me go on and pick her up. And y'all know I'm a dog lover, so if you're not a dog lover, you would not like me, because I love my dogs. I love animals. I'm definitely afraid of rodents. But of course, I'm trying to soothe her a little bit, make sure she doesn't get sick. Marie says, I like dealing with the local banks. In my city, they have Harbor One and Rockland Trust. Very good company. Maggie says he's right about Capital One, the worst company. Wow. Mr. Jean says banks are in the business to make money, so that's up to you to know how to navigate around that. Bank administrators are extremely intelligent when it comes to take your money. They're trained, and that's what they do, right? Hold on, Milo. Hold on, Milo. Haitian Impress say this is a great guest because our parents do not teach us these things, and they are very important. That is an important subject. So for the youth who are up and coming and watching, I know Stallion says you have to have these credit cards, but keep in mind credit cards are a responsibility, and you must use them wisely. So the best thing to do is to get what you can afford and definitely pay your credit card bills so that they do not get out of hand. Okay, it's number one way to keep your credit managed. Is that right?
Yeah, it all comes from day one. I think somebody made a comment in there. I think we talked off the live about this, about, your parents don't teach us this type of stuff. And for the most part, at least when I was in school, they don't teach you about credit and management of money and all that. And it goes on and on and on. I can go on for a day and a half about that. You almost have to learn out on your own. Back in the old days, a lot of people didn't have credit cards. They just paid cash. If they couldn't pay cash for it, they didn't have it. Then we got into this era where, the credit cards came into play. And, pretty soon now they're giving credit cards, at least they were when, so a couple years back at colleges. You come on college campus and you got credit card companies pushing these student credit cards. They want to get you hooked early and all. It's like a drug almost. They want to get you hooked. But the thing is, people are not thinking about when a bill comes in at the end of the month, if you don't have to pay it, people say, well, what are they going to do to me? Well, they'll put a blip on your credit bureau report and send it to collections, and you won't be able to get any loans that you need to get when you do need to get them.
So Ken's Jim says, what program do you use for your jobs?
I don't even understand that question. So they have to spell it out more for me to. I don't understand what
So,
they're.
Mr. Ken, if you're still on the chat, please rephrase that question for him so that he can answer it for you. That chick Jersey girl said, "Aunt Haiti lives in me. I'm confused. Who are you to tell someone else what they can say or write? You feel me?" Oh, y'all. Jose. Ken says, would like to work with you out in Haiti. How can we connect? Please, you all connect. Put up my phone number. Put up my phone number. What do you use as a program for YouTube vids? Okay, so you are asking me as a YouTuber. Okay. My moderators, please put up my phone number and you may contact me. And I want to tell you all too, I am doing a lot better with the help of few of my handful that keeps me. I want you all to know that I'm just not so social media savvy. And I know a lot of you all know this about me, but for some of my new people coming on, and look out for some new uploads too. I have some new uploads because I realize I've told my story, but I haven't shared certain things about me or even my past. So I will be sharing some more in the upcoming uploads. So look out for that. But it's a compliment to want to learn from me. Whatever knowledge I could share with other up and coming YouTubers, I'm more than willing to share it. And if I can be of any assistance, anybody in the YouTube community will tell you she's open. So Ken's, please get my phone number in the chat and please get in contact with me, okay? And we can talk more in private. Georgia Calver says, no. Haitian Impress says, at Stallion, what are your views on the effect that student loans have? With the Department of Education, HellNet cause, I can't stand them. So, Stallion, are you still with me?
Yeah. Oh, you want me to answer that question?
Oh yeah, it's at Stallion. What are your views on the effect that student loans have?
Well, it's getting off topic what I'm trying to do, but yeah, I know student loans will haunt you to day's end. They'll literally tag your estate if you have any assets. You aren't getting out of a student loan for anything. You can file bankruptcies will be included in student loans. There's nothing you could do whatsoever to get out of a student loan. You will pay. It's like the Monopoly game. Don't pass go. Don't get $200. You're not going to pass go. They're going to get their money. That again, that's part of our society here in this country. People are when they go to school, what they're doing is they're choosing the wrong fields to go into, and that goes back to high school. They're not educating them the people to say, hey, these are the programs that we know you could get jobs in, and this is what they pay. And I'll give you an example. I think I use this on Fitness's or Philly's channel. Let's say you go to a college and you're going for enrollment. You get different programs you can go into. Okay. Let's just say one person goes into hospitality management. They want to get a degree in that. And then let's say the other person wants to get a BSN as a nurse. Okay, we'll just use those two. Both require 4-year degrees, and the credit hours you spend, whether it goes to the nursing program or the hospitality management program, the credit hour is going to be the same regardless. I mean, you have some fees and stuff like that depending on your specialty, but the credit hour is going to be the same. The problem is the person goes in hospitality management, puts themselves at debt for $40,000, okay, in student loan debt. The person that takes the BSN nursing program goes into debt $40,000. Here we're at the end of the process now. They got their bachelor degrees, and the BSN passed their boards in that state to become a nurse. Which field do you think is going to pay more going into the job market? You know, being a red roof manager working 60 hours a week on salary for minimum wage, or somebody that's got a nursing degree that could jump right in to, you know, any hospital in any part of this country. Even in most rural areas, they're impoverished in this country, are always hiring nurses because there's a crisis. You know, it's all because of COVID. This has been going on for years. So that problem with student loans, people get themselves in a jam. They're choosing the wrong fields to start with, you know, to go into, and then they realize after the fact, or they drop out of college or whatever else, they can still got to pay those loans back. So you have to have a full commitment when you start the process to go to school. If you're going to take out loans, you better have a game plan to pay them off if you do drop out or flunk out or whatever the case may be. Or you better be committed and go all the way to get that degree and get into a field that's marketable. Yes, I think some statistics that were given to me years ago when I was in college, and they basically said that only 10% of the students that start college actually finish. And that stuck in my mind, you know, coming right out of high school. And I thought, you know, that won't be me because I have nowhere to turn to. I got to make it. I can't fail. You know, I did whatever I had to do to, you know, to get through school, you know, to get the job I have to pay those loans back. So that's my comment on student loans.
Marge says student loans now, that's the real ball and chain. That chick Jersey girl says, I'm not sure if this was covered at Stallion. How much money do you make from each transaction, or whatever you want to call it, broker fee, cash cow? Not really sure.
Well, it depends on the card. Depends on the older the card, the higher the limit, the more commission the person makes.
Okay. Wilson says Obama done paying his student loans when he was a senator. Wow. Max says, I do have 4 credit cards that's maxed out. Haitian Impress says, as Stallion says, I'm a truck driver and I want and need to step my game up, but I have no guidance. I want, and if you all have more questions, his email address is in the chat. Please add your email address again, because I'm not sure if someone is just coming in the live that did not get all the information from the beginning. Now you may want to share that information with them again so that they'll be able to reach out to you if they have any questions. Haitian Warrior King, hello, my brother. Says I got $8,000 of student loans that I'm paying off. It was more. That's right. And you don't give up. You keep pushing. One of the things is when you first get out of school and when you start anything, it's not easy. I have siblings who are facing the same thing. They are the youths, you know, going through school with the student loans, the grants, to this, to that. You got to keep pushing, stay focused, and know that it's not going to, you know, hard work pays off. Things don't just come easy, but be wise. Don't make a situation worse. So if you know you have student loans, my advice would be, my brother or my sister, don't go around getting all these credit cards, okay? That may not be the best thing for you to do because you're setting up a foundation of failure, okay? You're not setting up a good foundation for yourself.
Well, let me interject a comment on that. Yeah, credit cards aren't
Mhm.
bad to have. It's just that you got to be able to put them up and not use them. I mean, as far as to put yourself in debt. Credit. If it's anything at all, forget about the brokerage and everything I said. Credit cards should be used for emergencies. Let's just say, for example, you're working a job and you have one card, your car goes down. It goes to the repair shop. The mechanic says that'll be $1,200 to get your car out of the shop, so you can go to work. Well, you need that money right now. The credit card is the answer to use because that's for an emergency, and you need to have that card so you can get to work to make money to pay your bills. I mean, that to me, that's just management. That's 101 to me in my head. For setting aside the brokerage stuff. People should always have credit cards. It's just that it's not a drug. It's not an alcoholic drink. You got to be able to keep it and keep it moderated. You drink moderation. When you drink, you don't go to get drunk. So it's the same thing with credit cards. You gotta have them, but use them just for basic purchases. Maybe to go to the grocery store and basically using a credit card you can pay off at the end of the month because there's no interest. Most of them have a 25-day grace period. So you use a credit card and you pay it off at the end of the month. That's what it's really for. Other than that, it's for emergencies. I mean, that's what you use them for. And like I said, I collected credit cards over the year like baseball cards. And the only reason I did it is because I was always fearful of losing my job. I had a house, I had a mortgage and everything. And, if I get fired off my job or whatever may happen, I at least have those to back me up temporarily until I get myself back on my feet. That's the reason I always collected credit cards like baseball cards. Now it's different. Everything's paid for, and yeah, I'm just marketing them. I mean, I just market. I don't have any balances on everything but one credit card I paid off every month. As when I run a balance on that, that's a local credit union card. Other than that, all my credit cards have zero balances on them. So you just use at that point to make money.
All right. So, my brother, we've came up on our hour mark. Is there anything else that you would like to leave the audience with? Please post your email address before we leave. Is there anything else that you'd like to leave the audience with?
Other than if you have the cards, get in touch with me. Put my email up. If you don't have the cards, then there's no use of contacting me because there's really nothing I can do to help you. This is all about the brokerage side, of the house. But I had to use the example for, why people would buy my spot, and it's for the people that are trying to get their FICO score up. That was the example I was using, the reason why people would spend money like that. I'm just on the brokerage side of it. So you got the cards, you want to make some money, come to the gangster bankster. If you don't have it, you don't have it. It's as simple as that.
Mhm. Well, I want to thank you so very much for coming on the show and actually getting to clarify some things about Stallion. And we know now that Stallion is not a Guyanian, and you had a lot of us fooled.
I just happen to have a lot of knowledge, and it wasn't by wasn't I went out my way for it. It was just that's the way the direction my life went. So I didn't seek it; it came to me.
That's right. One of the things I want to share too about you, Stallion, because I know from watching you all over the channels, and of course, I support you guys all the way with whatever you all do because y'all have been there with me about life in Haiti. So a lot of people assume, Stallion is about the 10 wives, and I think I'm what, number 20? But one of the things about you, a lot of people don't know before we leave, is that you do have a very settled, serious side, my brother. And I want you to know that I commend your humanitarian side, that side that wants to see the world a better place. And no matter what, being always willing to actually be a part of something great, a good movement. I just want to thank you so, so very much too for the love and the continuous encouragement, the push that you constantly give me with whatever you see I'm going through with life in Haiti. Thank you so, so very much.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. The more I can do, the more I have the capability of doing, I will do. You already know that. So
Thank you so much. And, continue to be of great support. I know when you go to DR, also leave your mark there. Always share to please everybody, be a stamp, positive stamp in your community. So I hope that you will share that with other people, especially when you meet with someone that I really admire, which is Russell, known to a lot of people, Tailor Made Dreams. Um, I hope that y'all get together and do some great work.
absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you so, so very much, you all. So please get in contact with Stallion. Thank you all so much. Stallion, you have a blessed night. And everyone else, you all have a blessed night. As always, be kind to one another, you all. Give somebody a compliment. Tell somebody you love them. Let's not take others for granted, okay? So much is happening in our world. We do not know where people are at emotionally, mentally. Just because we see someone looking a certain way does not mean that they're not going through anything. Let's check on people, you all. Let's be there for people. And one of the things, Grace, you cannot do that. Grace, no. One of the things, excuse me, you all too. Y'all know my dogs. I gotta constantly watch them. One of the things I want to share tonight is be mindful how we treat people in our lives, you all. Do not take people for granted, okay? Bad enough, people are only there for a moment. Life is a vapor. So focus on building lasting relationships. Focus on building positive relationships, which would make memories and not just be chasing the things of this world, which would not last forever. All right. Jerome says, how to make a donation to your foundation. Please give me a call, but we do have a link. Um, we do have a GoFundMe link. The Cash App should also be posted. I am looking for 4 more people to sponsor a child. So let's get that sponsoring a child completed by August 15th. My goal is to have all of that taken care of. Pray you all that I am continuously getting blessed with gas. The word is not only is bringing the gas into Port-au-Prince in our country right now very dangerous because they have to pass one of the most dangerous areas in Haiti. I would say could be one of the most dangerous areas in the world, okay, where we just went and gave out food to the center. And I also made a video about crossing that area. That is an area that is causing havoc right now in our country. And basically, the whole country is stopped waiting because where there is no gas in any country, a lot of people are in darkness because it's expensive to have electricity, and a lot of people use generators, which they need gas in Haiti to be able to operate them. And I know a lot of y'all are familiar with Haiti, even if you've never traveled to Haiti from watching Haitian content creators. We pretty much share with you how daily lives in Haiti is. So if you would like to make a donation, you can do so through the Cash App. You can do so through GoFundMe. You can contact me directly, and I also have access to Zelle. So please contact me if you are considering sponsoring a child, one of the things I want to share with you all is the fact that, come here, Grace. No, sponsoring a child, you all, is a commitment. So once you sponsor a child, please, you all, do not forget that I will be calling you again this coming year, even if we don't get to stay in touch, okay? But this year, I will be making a big effort. So I have a team that's working with me, and look out for an upcoming upload. I will be introducing my team to everyone that is helping me to in the background, so that those who sponsor a kid will be getting newsletters and actually building a relationship with that child which they have sponsored. And I pray that you get to actually meet that child one day when you decide to travel to Haiti. Um, Haitian Warrior King says, I thought he was this African guy running around hunting in the jungle. No, he's not. No, he's not. Max Petit says, thanks, Marie, for bringing your guests online. I joined in a little late in your show. Would your guest program jump my score up? If so, by how many points? I do not know, you all. Please contact him directly. Mama Nina, hello. How you doing, my sister? So thank you all so very much. I got my babies, they going crazy. This one here trying to go crazy. Say hi, Grace. Hey, Gracie. Say hi, Life in Haiti. Say I'm part of the family too. That's right. We love you, Stallion. Thank you so very much, Stallion. You have a good night. I know you late. Please watch the live again. Watch the live again. So thank you all so very much. It's raining out here too in Haiti. So I'm about to get in the bed and have a good night of sleep, y'all. Stay blessed, you all. Have a happy Monday. Good night, Stallion.
All right. Same, different day, maybe same time.
All right. God bless you. See you all Wednesday night, same time, same place. Good night. Oh, hold on before I go. My sister Edrin. You scared 50 people. Thank you so very much, my sister Edrin. Thank you so very much. May God bless you. God bless you. Right before I leave, I seen it flash up the screen. God bless you, sis, and thank you so very much for your continuous love and definitely support of Life in Haiti. God bless you, my sister. You have a blessed night. All right, William. God bless you.